Yes, I'm 29. This is do or die for me now. You will not see me if I don't overcome this fight back in Australia fighting, domestic guys. That's not me. So everything I have, I'll be putting into that ring and obviously my training and, God willing, I'll be victorious October 16th. Life hasn't changed for me.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, what you just heard was the voice of former unified lightweight world champion, Australian star boxer, George Kambosos Jr., who is 20 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 10 wins by way of knockout, 29 years of age, 5'9" with a 68-inch arm reach. He held the press conference for his immediate rematch with undisputed lightweight world champion, superstar boxer Devin the Dream Haney, who is 28 wins, no losses, no draw, 15 wins by way of knockout, 23 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. They held the press conference to officially announce their October 15th in the United States, October 16th, because it will be in Melbourne, Australia, showdown, okay, the rematch. The first fight took place, earlier this year, and Devin Haney, June 4th in the States, June 5th in Australia, and Devin Haney dominated George Kambosos, pitched the shutout, won every single round against George Kambosos Jr. in that fight. Many people thought it was going to be, competitive, but it wasn't competitive. And because of that, George Kambosos Jr. is now stating that if he's not victorious in his rematch, he's going to retire. He says, you won't see George Kambosos anymore if I don't win this rematch. I'm not coming back home to Australia and fighting a bunch of domestic fights on low-level fights. So if I don't win, this is it.
It's always been like that. The only time it changes is the first fight with Haney, where in the back of your mind you do have that rematch clause. It wasn't do or die.
So he said that the rematch clause gave him room to be comfortable, knowing he had a second fight already lined up, and knowing that if he lost, he get an opportunity to regain his titles. So he says he didn't feel like his back was against the wall, but now he feels like his back is against the wall, and now he's back in a position where he feels most comfortable being a massive underdog because Devin Haney pitched a shutout. And so obviously he was reaching, he's finding reasons. It's just like I gave the example of former 2-time heavyweight unified world champion, British superstar boxer Anthony Joshua, losing for a second time to Olympic gold medalist, undefeated 2-division world champion, former cruiserweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning unified heavyweight world champion, Oleksandr Usyk, Ukrainian superstar boxer, who is now 20 wins, no losses, no draw, 13 wins by way of knockout, 35 years of age, 6'3" with a 78-inch arm reach. Anthony Joshua is now 24 wins, 3 losses, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout, 6'6", 32 years of age with an 82-inch arm reach, right? And so I gave the example that Devin Haney, who pitched the shutout against George Kambosos, similar to the dominating performances that Usyk has put on against Anthony Joshua, it's hard to justify. When you get knocked out like Anthony Joshua did in his first loss to former unified heavyweight world champion Mexican superstar boxer Andy Ruiz Jr., June 1st at Madison Square Garden in 2019, getting dropped 4 times and stopped in the 7th round, you can try to justify in your mind that, it was a lucky punch and anybody could get knocked out. You can justify it. But when somebody outclasses you and outboxes you and just dominates you, and they do it once, right, in your brain, you say, okay, I wasn't prepared. You can try to justify not being prepared, not being focused. But they do it twice, right? It's very hard to overcome that. And in this case, this is why George Kambosos is saying if he loses again to Devin Haney, because, the odds of Devin Haney stopping him or knocking him out are not very high. So 9 times out of 10, Devin Haney's going to repeat the same performance. And it could be a stoppage. It could be the same performance with a stoppage at the end. if Devin Haney decided to step on the gas, the right hand was there. He just chose not to use it. He stayed in cruise control to secure the victory on somebody else's home soil, right? That may not be the case this fight. And so George Kambosos is trying to justify losing to Devin Haney by saying that, he knew he had a rematch clause, so he wasn't fully, committed. Thus the reason why he missed weight on the scale, but 15 minutes later came back and made the weight. And he's also stating that the referee, which I'm going to let you hear, the referee also played a major part in not letting George Kambosos be who he normally is. And so he goes on to say that he hopes the fans get a great fight, and he hopes the referee allows them to get momentum. We get a new referee to referee this fight so I could get in my groove. So he's pointing the finger at the referee. He's pointing the finger at the fact that he had a rematch clause and not being consistent. So he loses again, hence the reason why he's going to say this.
It's not when I'm at my best. So, do or die for me, it is. It could be the last time you ever see Kambosos, or I got all the belts back.
So he said this will be the last time you see Kambosos, or I'll be getting all the belts back. So either I'm getting all the belts back, or this is the last time you're going to see George Kambosos in the ring, okay? And so, like I stated, because it's very difficult, to justify in your mind a fighter dominating you in the manner that, Devin Haney dominates George Kambosos, outclassing him and outboxing him, okay? So with that said, let's listen to what he had to say about the referee.
Him and his father, they will come back, give me the shot like I gave them a shot, but the hard-working fans, they pay a lot of money for a good action fight, so, I just hope that...
So he's saying the hard-working fans paying hard-earned money, to see an entertaining, action-packed fight.
This referee this time does justice for the fight and, lets the fight, go the way it's meant to be, but, that's in the past now. I'll focus on one thing. A good action fight, so, I just hope that this referee this time does justice for the fight and, lets the fight, go the way it's meant to be, but, that's in the past now. I'll focus on one thing. Good action fight, so, I just hope that this referee this time does justice for the fight and, lets the fight, go the way it's meant to be, but,
So he's pointing to the referee. Like I said, it's hard to admit that another man is just better than you, especially in combat sports, because now you're talking about physical altercations, right? It's one thing when you're talking about a sport like basketball, football, baseball, team sports. But when you're dealing with, and those team sports are not computational, it's a sport. So you can shoot a basketball and it miss, roll around the ring and pop back out. Hit a baseball and you can't get it over quite get it over the gate, or throw a football and you just couldn't see at the time. It could be interference and things of that nature. But when it comes to combat sports and a man just physically dominates you, man to man, right? It's very hard to digest that. Now, again, like I said, anybody can get knocked out. Anybody can get hit, clipped with a punch they don't see, or in the perfect spot and get knocked out. Anybody can. That can happen to anybody. But when a man just physically dominates you and there's nothing you can do about it, there's no answers, it's very difficult to justify. Hence the reason why George Kambosos knows he gets dominated again, he's not going to be able to cope with it. You understand? He said this is a great division, but he's not going to be able to cope with it. He's going to look to call it a career. So he says, I'm 29, my back is against the wall. He's only 29 years of age. He hasn't even reached his full prime and full potential yet. You do that around between 28 to 33, right? So he hasn't yet fully reached his absolute prime. And he's already talking about retiring. He only has 20 fights in his career, 21 fights. But the reason he's saying that is because he can't accept that Devin Haney dominates him man to man, and he has no answer for it. So that's the reason why he's trying to justify using the referee, using the rematch clause, and all these different things as to why he lost. And he's saying he couldn't get his momentum going. But he lose this time, he don't have no excuse. And so he's going to call it a career. And so stylistically, you can hear the announcer who's from Australia continue to try to throw him a life raft. He's saying, he interviews Devin Haney as well, and he says, "Oh, Devin, you're a very big guy for 135 pounds." So he's alluding to him trying to instill in the fans' head. He's trying to, place that nugget in the minds of the fans, that Devin Haney is too big for Kambosos. How do you even make the weight? You understand? Trying to say he has an extreme advantage over Kambosos. So these are the little nuances and little things that take place in the sport of boxing. That's just not going to work. Devin Haney is just more skilled, more talented than Kambosos. And he's physically, yes, more gifted than Kambosos. He's tall at 5'9.5", but he has a 72-inch arm reach, okay? Where Kambosos has a 68-inch arm reach. So Devin Haney has 4-inch arm reach advantage over George Kambosos. He's faster, he has faster feet, more active feet, and that's ultimately the reason why George Kambosos is not going to win, didn't win the first fight, and is not going to win the second fight. And if he's true to his word, then this will be the last fight we see George Kambosos in. So let's see how this all unfolds. October 15th, Melbourne. It's going to be October 15th in the States, October 16th in Australia. So that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, and get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure to like and share the videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.